So I don't want to be accused of false advertisement. I'm probably going to put Scoville in the title. And there is no direct connection, so I want to be very clear. But this is a serious issue. And there are pretty incredible parallels. No direct connection as far as I can find, but you never know. So let me just get to it. And the earlier version of this, I was going to be like making the parallel to Brett in this case, but I want to just concentrate on the case itself. But we'll do some future videos, compare and contrast, because it's pretty out there. And I'm going to be simplifying a lot and skipping over a few things. I will fill in the details in future videos, and of course, videos for channel members. And if you want to get previews or a more blunt version, you can sign up and join at various tiers. So I don't know where to begin. This one's really tough on several levels. So let me just get to the basic gist of who this predator is, who vehemently denies that they are a predator. So this is Tony, and the paperwork seems solid for Tony. So there's no doubt he committed the crime, but it gets very complicated very quickly. I'm just going to keep it very simple, and there's a few things I need to double check. But again, the core here is indisputable, and it is very disturbing. So essentially, he was locked up and convicted for several crimes against his daughter, who was an adult in her 30s. She was 34 at the time. And this was a few years ago. He was convicted. He took a plea and he went to jail. And now he's on a registry. And he has an active YouTube channel with over 10,000 subscribers. So, what is the problem? What is the big deal? What is the Scoville in the title? Why is it justified? Well, it seems we're finding over and over again that a certain class of predators see a very good, or at least tentatively good, social movement that is somewhat popular, hooks up into it, and then exploits people. Now, to be clear, I don't think he's a direct threat in the usual sense, but there's a lot of threatening features here. So, for one thing, it is true he was forced to defend himself because he was basically hiding the truth for a while. To give him credit, he did admit what was most critical, that yes, he is guilty. He's on a register. He has to be registered, but the violation is in Class C, meaning that because the victim is his daughter and someone who is a family relative, this is a different category. So he's not.
Yes, I did go to jail for that. And the other two was SA third degree, an abusive family member, family household member, an adult. But it had nothing to do with the R word, and it had nothing to do with the P word, predator, at all. In fact, she listed the proper paperwork from the court, and it said I pled no contest.
Guilty of the R word, but he is guilty of strangling his daughter, who apparently was sick at the time. She had a lot of medical problems. And the daughter was trying out for American Idol and wishes to be a singer. And again, there's some things that are fuzzy with the larger context, but he doesn't deny the basic gist here that yes, he did choke her and he was convicted. However, he is not an R word, and it is not an underage victim, because apparently some people were spreading rumors it was an underage victim. It's not. Still, it's very disturbing on many levels. For one thing, when asked about this, he now proclaims rather openly that he would still strangle her again, but again, want to be careful, if she was a man. So, in other words, he does not routinely attack women, but if his daughter was a man, he would do it again. In other words, he would try to choke her again. So this is someone who's very habitually violent, self-admittedly. And also, to defend himself, he's attacking several YouTubers who exposed him and trying to say, oh, this is cyberbullying. Now, granted, the videos and receipts I saw, they are a little biased, right? However, I do think they're good faith. They're trying to be accurate, and the core of what they're saying is true. So it's a very difficult thing to judge. So this wider movement it's a little puzzling. I'm going to keep it very brief. Basically, there's a singer, Angie, who had several hit records but was struggling by the time of her death. So in her death, her fans and other people are trying to find justice for musical artists who don't get the proper recognition or compensation. So there's a movement to reanalyze Angie, give her more credit, and make sure she's given proper credit and compensation, even though she's dead. So it seems like a positive social movement around a musical artist. So you got to wonder, why would someone who's guilty of these crimes against a woman, his own daughter would just suddenly join, right? The YouTube channel is only very recent. And he's putting himself out as, quote, a protector of women and trying to help a woman's legacy. So it's just very, very questionable. And several people who were close to him are stepping back. And this is where there's a kind of weird Scoville connection. One of these people is someone who has spoken out against P. Diddy for a very long time. And we'll talk more about him. I think he's very credible, and he's very alarmed at what happened, and he's stepping away from him. Now, not everyone. In fact, a prominent black woman is actually defending Tony and thinks people should just mind their own business. So it's very strange and definitely has a lot of alarming parallels to what we're seeing with Aaron and the anti Scientology movement and Brett and quote people in the recovery community. So we have these social movements that on the surface seem very positive and popular and just attract a lot of people. And then these predators move in. Now, again, predators come in different sizes and shapes and forms. And to be fair to the various parties, Aaron has never been convicted at all. He hasn't even been charged. And again, to be fair to Tony, he's not Brett. This is not an underage victim. It is a different category, but he is registered. And yet he was actively trying to hide this past. And when he gets exposed, he is doing a lot like Scoville, just talking generically about, oh, there's too much hatred online, all this cyberbullying, etc., etc. And it seems that the person is not really reformed. They're still extremely violent, extremely arrogant, and angry, and trying to profit from tragedy. So I think the wisest course for now is just to avoid Tony, expose him, and let people make their own decisions. So this has just come out in the last couple of weeks. So knowledge is still spreading. I will do more fact checking and double checking and triple checking, but the basics seem indisputable, and it is very alarming and very, very disturbing. That, again, on the surface seems very positive. These various people coming forward and helping out these movements, but behind the scenes, something more nefarious is happening. So it's very disturbing. But it looks like a very good social movement. It seems worth supporting itself, but it is attracting, unfortunately, some predatory elements. And there we are.